Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we have the privilege of having a conversation with M. Curtis McCoy, a distinguished entrepreneur, a personal branding expert, author, and motivational speaker. Mr. McCoy is dedicated over 2 decades to empowering individuals and businesses, guiding them to harness their unique strengths and achieve unparalleled success. His journey is one of many professional accomplishments, but also of profound personal resilience, having overcome some significant challenges to emerge as a beacon of inspiration. Through his platform, Newswire Magazine, and his appearances on outlets like Amazon Fire TV, Mr. McCoy has showcased influential figures to millions, positioning him as a thought leader in their respective industries. His literary contributions, including titles like How to Be Successful, Think Like a Leader, Become an Excellent Conversationalist, and Developing Success, Motivation, and Inspiration, have inspired readers with actionable insights into personal development and effective communication. Today, we're going to delve into his experiences, his philosophies, and intricacies of personal branding in the modern era. Mr. McCoy, thank you for joining me here today, man.
Matt, I'm so glad to be on the show, and it was nice to be able to chat with you a little bit before we went live here.
For sure, man. I'm glad to have you. So your personal narrative is marked by a lot of resilience. And I've been doing some research here. You faced a lot in your life, overcome some pretty significant challenges. Let me ask you, how have these experiences shaped your approach to business and personal branding?
And I think so. I mean, as you probably know, I'm a brain cancer survivor. Survived a malignant glioblastoma brain tumor. Lost the ability to communicate. 7 to 10 seizures a week. Having a kind of a mess there. Diabetes. I've been on more shots a day than most people ever have in a couple of year period. But I mean, all that grew up in a rough household. Had a dad that was not a good dude, and I mean, I think all of that, you have to decide. This is actually, I was featured on a band out of Europe, asked me for an audio clip, and they used this in a song that they recently published here. But it says the difference between winners and losers is losers use their past as an excuse. Winners use it as a reason to become something better. So that's a big thing. I mean, we've all gone through stuff that sucks. You can either focus on the past and feel like, poor me, feeling sorry for yourself and why me, or you get out and do something about it and help some other people with your experiences.
Sure. Let's kind of let the audience get to know you a little bit. Can you share with me a pivotal moment from your journey throughout this whole experience that's really influenced your current path and where you're at with Newswire Magazine and all these, becoming an author and speaker? What has influenced your current path?
If you listen to episodes that I've done on some other shows, I talk about at one point where my dad had backhanded me, had me on the bathroom floor, told me your waste to scan, your waste to oxygen, walked out, handed me a loaded pistol, told me to do the world a favor. I try not to focus on that kind of junk anymore because it's stuff that happened. But again, that's the more I talk about it, the more I think about it, and the more I get done, and I still feel, thinking about the past stuff, and it's kind of hard to deal with it's hard to have a good personal image and feel like you're providing value if I'm focusing on the past.
Yeah.
The thing that really got me into personal branding though was over the years we were running a telecommunications company with over 250,000 customers a month at the website, doing pretty well as far as a little family-owned business. And I had, I was labeled president of the company. There's a couple dozen people working with us there, but I was known as president of the company, but had not done anything as far as personal branding goes. And we had another local cell phone store competitor that was spreading a bunch of negative rumors about. So I had heard a customer of ours came in and he was talking about how he said the owner or the best cellular store in Hotchkiss said that owner's a racist and won't let Mexicans in his store. And so I'm thinking, well, this is kind of a crazy thing. We had a huge population of immigrant workers come over from Mexico, work during the summer. They're sending money back home using the international calling cards, that kind of stuff. And so we started just bleeding off customers left and right. My best friend at the time was a guy, like we'd go over, I went to his daughter's quinceanera. He was like, obviously had nothing against anybody because of skin color, because anything like that.
Sure.
So I jump in the truck, I head up, I'm heading to this other store that's like 30 minutes away. And as I'm driving up there, I'm thinking, okay, do I grab the guy by the collar, pull him over the counter and explain to him this is not how we do business? I'll probably get myself arrested. Maybe not the best way to do business, but I'm trying to figure out what the heck to do. And I'm driving along and I praying about it and thinking, and I walk into his store and it's kind of busy. There's other folks standing in line. And so I'm looking around, looking at their international calling rates and looking, okay, they got some pretty good deals, not as low of prices as ours was. So I was trying to see why is so many people leaving us. And so I just walked in and I said, hey, is there, he says, is there something I can help you with? And we'd never met each other. I said, yeah, I just came from, have you heard of the Best Cellular store down in Hotchkiss, Colorado? Or there's a few of them in Grand Junction and Orchard Mesa and Clifton and stuff. But he immediately jumps into, yeah, that's a terrible place. Did you know the owner of that place is a racist? He won't let Mexicans walk into his store. So I said, are you kidding me? And so then he keeps talking and talking. And the more I'm going, that sounds like a terrible person. That's horrible. And so the more I said, the more excited he's getting about just telling me this terrible, horrible place and how bad the owner was.
Sure.
And so the more we talked there, then pretty soon I'm realizing I don't need to punch this guy in the teeth. I don't need to drag him over the counter. He has no clue who he's even talking to. And so I finally, I'm like, man, listen, if any of what you just said is true, I hope that company goes out of business yesterday. This is a terrible deal, Thanks so much for sharing that with me. If you need anything, and I put my card on the counter, slid it across, it says M. Curtis McCoy, President, Best Seller. And he started stumbling and tripping over his words. And I said, no, man, I learned something today. And he didn't know what I was talking about. But what I learned, though, was he had created a better story about me than I had created about myself. And so anybody in the valley that didn't personally know me and weren't friends, somebody Googled me and this guy, if he was starting a blog or if he was posting YouTube videos about what a horrible person I am and I'm doing nothing about my own brand, that's my fault. That's just a marketing tool he was using to suck up customers and it worked real well.
Sure.
So that's actually that's back in like 2016, 2017, probably 2016. And we'd been running the company for 6 years at the time. And I had no personal brand. Our local competitor had no clue who owned the company.
That's interesting. And that kind of leads me to my next question here, Curtis, is you've kind of been described as a serial entrepreneur and an innovator, right? So what core principles do you think have guided your entrepreneurial endeavors over the years? Because your career goes far beyond just telecommunications, right? I mean, what has guided your career to this point?
So everything I've done, I had a cosmetic medical laser clinic. We had a company that manufactured bioidentical injectable research peptides. Had a Christian clothing company. The whole bunch of different genres, different types of businesses. But I always loved solving problems. I love helping people. And so all of these businesses that I started was I would find a problem that existed and then surround myself with smart people who are a whole lot smarter than I am that could do the stuff that I didn't understand or I didn't have the college degree to be able to. I wasn't going to figure it out in the next 12 years. Surround myself and then put together good teams of great people who are like-minded, who want to solve the same problems and figure out how to provide a solution.
Interesting. So you talk about surrounding yourself with good people, right? People who can get things done, right?
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you, in your experience in business, in life, working with clients, whatever it is, we live in an age where there's a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of people who are, trying to do things their own way, trying to strike it out on their own. What common pitfalls do you see that these aspiring entrepreneurs face, and how do they navigate them? How do you coach them through this? What guidance would you give to an aspiring entrepreneur?
Solve a problem. If you figure out how to provide a solution, a product, service, or solution that solves a problem for somebody, even if you're not the best solution, you've got to be the one that people find. So as an example here, let's say you build a shopping mall. It is the largest, coolest, most well-equipped shopping mall in history. And there's every restaurant, theme parks, anything you could possibly imagine, every store, every restaurant, every car dealership attached. That thing is absolutely incredible. And you build it in the middle of the desert with no roads leading into it, you're never going to have a customer, let alone enough to keep the business running. So people cannot do business with you if you can't find you.
Mm-hmm. So with that being said, you work with a lot of professional branding and people getting, or personal branding, I should say, for professionals. And as you work with these businesses and these business leaders and these individuals, you talk a lot about this personal branding. How critical is it for a professional today?
People don't do business with somebody that they don't know, like, and trust. You would have to have a ridiculous great offer. You think about if you walk into a restaurant, and this is kind of off topic here, but if you walk into a restaurant or maybe a coffee shop, there's two coffee shops side by side. One of them has customer service that you walk in, they know your name. Hey, Curtis, Matt. Hey, Matt, how's it going? Hey, you order and they know your drink. They start getting ready by the time you get up there. Hey, by the way, you got to check out these new, whatever they're offering. And they love you. They know what you like. Hey, last week you tried the whatever, you said you didn't like the cinnamon. And they know you like a friend, but their prices are a couple bucks higher, or even, let's say they're serving the same coffee, the same things, but theirs is not, they've got the same options, but their quality is not quite as great. Yep. But you walk in, you feel like, that is my friend, that's my family. I love going to this shop. You walk into the next place and they've got the best coffee you have ever tasted, but it's, how can I help you? That people aren't going to do business with the company that even has the best product if they feel undervalued. So it's kind of the same thing with the personal branding. You have to make people know, like, and trust you. And once that happens, if you're solving a problem, you got business coming to you.
So what are the foundational steps that somebody should take to do this, to establish this compelling personal brand? What steps should they take to do that?
There's a couple of different things. There's earned media. Pretty much everything falls into either earned media or paid media. Mm-hmm. You and I talked about this before with your broadcast career and everything you've done in media over the years.
Sure.
But earned media is things that you do where you're trading time, money, like time, not money paying for the media, but maybe you're hosting an event. Maybe you're gathering up a team and you guys are going, you've got a law firm and your entire firm goes and picks up trash along the highway, and you're doing this over and over again. And then you've got somebody else on the outside reaching out to the local newspaper saying, hey, did you know Bob's law firm is every Saturday morning, they're out cleaning up trash along the highway, but they've been doing this for months. Now, enough people anonymously report that to the local news, and they get somebody out there to report what a great person you are, and they've mentioned your company. That's awesome. Earned media is great, but it takes a lot of time and effort investment. We did this with the cell phone stores. We bought a big old movie screen, like the outdoor movie screen, 4K projector, sound system, had the whole thing set up. And once a month we would host movies in the parking lot. And so we'd set up one of the 3 stores. We'd put up the movie projector and then host a free movie. And we ended up, by the end of it, we had a taco truck that'd show up, be selling tacos beforehand, had somebody else, lady that had her little popcorn cart thing. She'd show up and sell some popcorn. But every time that happened, we'd have one of our employees call from a personal cell phone, call all the local radio stations, the local TV news, say, hey, did you guys know, I just want to let you know, you probably heard about this, but did you know Best Cellular is hosting a free movie night? They're watching Princess Bride tomorrow night. They've got got hot dog, got the cart, whatever the junk is there. So we spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, and we're starting this after dark so that you could, so it was dark enough to plan. So we're finishing up movies a lot of times midnight, and I've got me, there's me, a couple other folks, family, employees, whatever, working. after hours, opening up the store, letting somebody in so they can run in and go to the bathroom and make sure they're not stealing a phone charger or a phone or something on the way out. So that's earned media. We didn't pay for that coverage, but it still cost us time, money, energy. Paid media on the other side, once you've got to a point where you're making money, the traffic that's already coming to your website, your landing page, your product service solution, when you get a good percentage of them converting organically without spending money, now the problem is just scaling that traffic. So if you got the shopping cart, the shopping mall in the middle of the desert, now if you could open up, have hundreds of thousands of people a day hitting this site or hitting that shopping mall, you're instantly profitable. That's when you start spending money on advertisements to drive traffic, paid traffic to try to convert them.
So from your perspective, in your opinion, how would you say an individual can effectively leverage, because staying on this topic of paid versus earned media, how could somebody leverage both paid and earned media to I guess, enhance their personal brand a little bit? How could they do this?
I could give you a 1,000-page book with a list of everything to do, and you'd probably miss some stuff. I mean, the book would miss stuff. There is anything as far as earned media. That's almost always where I'd recommend starting. Don't start spending money on advertisements until you know people are going to convert. You get people that throw thousands of dollars at Google ads or Facebook ads or AWS, Amazon ads, but they don't have their landing page tuned up where it converts a solid percentage. Advertising is not gambling. Once you know the conversion rate is right, then you just start throwing dollars at it. The more money you spend, the more money you make. But you got to be able to solve the problem. You got to be able to take care of fulfillment, where you're not going to be put out of business if 100,000 people order from you tomorrow. So get that tuned up. Once that's all done, then that's when you start spending money. But as far as earned media, you could, one thing right now, being a guest on awesome podcasts and shows like this, radio, TV, whatever shows. That's a good way to let people know you. You can do collaborations on, say, Instagram. Maybe you jump on somebody's YouTube channel with them, doing interviews there. Blog.
So,
if you like writing, put out a blog. Start writing daily. Start putting out value over and over and over again without asking for anything in return. Then you can start converting that traffic later.
So let me ask you this. Now, this may be an even more loaded question, but how can we've talked a little bit about this peso model, right? This paid, earned, shared, owned, all these different segments a little bit. But if you're a professional and you're focusing, say you're a coffee shop downtown or whatever, right? You're focusing on finding new customers wherever you can. How do these individuals who are the small business owners, how do they integrate this into their branding strategy? How would they do it?
So again, this is niching down, knowing exactly who you're talking to. If I'm talking to a local coffee shop, I mean, I've never owned a coffee shop. We had retail stores that my family ran, but if I was talking to a local coffee shop, the marketing on that is going to be 100% different than an online distributor selling coffee. The local shop is going to need to be focusing on the GMB Google location, optimizing the Google listings, make sure that search traffic. If somebody searches coffee, if they search croissant, if they search breakfast, if they search whatever the terms are that you're wanting to monetize, kid-friendly coffee shop, whatever, and they're searching that, you need to make sure that your online presence for that local location with Google citations, meaning you've been mentioned on other blogs, podcasts, whatever, mentioning your site name, as well as inbound links, is a huge thing. If you're doing online traffic and you're not just niched down to where you've got to be able to reach people within a 5-mile radius of your specific location, you spend a lot more time, money, energy on driving the traffic to something that's reaching the entire United States, or maybe you offer mobile painting services, and so you're doing anything within 50 miles of your location. Again, that's local instead of the SEO as much. But it just depends on what your niche is.
Let me ask you this: talking a little bit about this kind of whole ball of wax here, social media. Things like Instagram, LinkedIn, maybe even Facebook still is somewhat relevant. how do you think individuals should curate their online presence? Like how, because obviously it's like a museum, right? You're showing people what you want them to see, right? You're pointing this out. How do you recommend curating this for your audience, your social media presence?
That's a good question. One of the things I would recommend is have a dedicated page for your business and a separate one for your personal profile. If you're on Instagram, set up a business and a personal profile, and make sure that when you're sharing stuff, you don't want to be on there talking about, oh, I just had the best breakfast sandwich. This is awesome. If you got a cell phone site, you're trying to sell cell phones. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares about what you ate for breakfast, and that decreases your status for the product for the problem you're trying to solve for people. So I would focus, like you talked about it being a museum. If you're hosting a podcast, posting clips of the episode, getting people some kind of a good soundbite, good knowledge on there from the episode, and then you've got your link in your podcast. Maybe your link at the top is something where they can click. So tell them, hey, go click the link on my Instagram. Click there, and you can watch You can watch this show.
Think Joe Rogan or Joe Rogan Shorts, right? Or Theo Vaughn Shorts. Yep. These little micro-sized things. Well, let's talk a little bit about this. What common mistakes, since we're on the topic of social media, what common mistakes do you think that do you normally see people doing when it comes to social media branding, and more importantly, how can they be fixed?
No mistakes is spending money too early. So many people start running Facebook ads. I had a lady on the show a while back that was talking about the thousands and thousands of dollars she had spent, multiple $1,000s a month, driving traffic for people to get to know her and follow her on Facebook, and then also running ads to get them to her website. As I'm looking at the website, there is no call to action. There's no looking at, it was a nice looking site, but I didn't know what she wanted me to do when I got to the site. And this is a lady I've been talking to. No call to action, no solution, no. So if I had seen a Facebook ad and I happened to click the ad and I get on the site, this nice looking site. Okay, cool. I'm out. So making sure that, again, once traffic gets to wherever you're sending them, it needs to be able to convert and have an offer that makes sense, where you're providing, you'd be charging less than the value that you're providing to the client. So if you're selling courses, if you're selling an online course and you're trying to do this course, it's only a $5,000 course, and you're teaching somebody whatever the skill is, they need to be able to take that, get through the course, study it, get, whatever they're doing. They need to get at least $5,000 worth of value out of that course, or you're ripping people off.
Yep. Let's talk a little bit about that. That's good advice. And especially about spending money too early. I see a lot of people do this. I'll be completely honest with you. With my brand and what I do, doing this podcast as a media business, Kurt, I do not sink a ton of money into this thing. I went into this with the idea, this is, you know what, it's going to be totally grassroots. I'm not going to sink a ton of money into this thing. And I think there's something to be said there about proving the value of the concept before you start throwing dollars at it, because that's when you do that, the dollars just don't make sense, do they?
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about UGC, user generated content, right? This has become really important in the world that we live in. When it comes to social media, when it comes to developing a personal brand, how can individuals create this UGC, this user generated content to strengthen their personal brand? How important is it to their brand?
I would think basically you're just, the whole goal behind this is trying to get people to see something that entices them to connect with you or learn more. So a problem you see often is somebody goes, online courses. I've never sold a course, but I've been turned off by a whole lot of them where I would never even click on the page, or you click on it, you go, what a worthless person tried to charge me $997 for something I could look at on YouTube, or $997 they're charging to get access to their video training course. And you Google it and it's available on YouTube for free, posted on their account. So they're charging $1,000 to get something that that they're hoping people watch. That's probably the biggest thing, is just not, is trying to charge people for something that's not actually valuable to them.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me ask you this, drawing from, as we kind of wind down this conversation, drawing from your really extensive experience that you have here, Curtis, what advice would you give to somebody who's aspiring to lead and to make significant impacts in whatever field it is, whether it's an influencer, whether it's a media professional, whether it's whatever they're doing, right? A coffee shop, whatever. What advice would you offer somebody just starting out today?
Start building your personal brand. The best time to do it is yesterday. You're not going to make that happen if you haven't started already. So start doing it today. If you are, find what you like to do. If you're going, man, I hate Instagram, I hate editing, I hate these stupid videos, I hate all of it. Don't do Instagram. Your potential audience, your target client, if you're genuinely serving people who you know, like, and trust, who you want them to feel the same, they're probably not going to like the same. They're probably not going to have interest in something that you hate. So maybe it's blogging. Start putting out articles on a daily basis, well-researched, well thought out, something that provides a solution or entertainment or whatever your target client needs, and just start providing value over and over and over and over again. And when you get to where you are seen as the expert on the subject that they're looking for a solution to, then you start charging for the solution. Same thing as with publishing a book. I'm not promoting, there's more book marketing scams than you can possibly imagine. These different so-called publishing companies, where it's just somebody where they buy the ISBN number, they publish your book to their Amazon KDP account. They own the rights to your content. Now you've spent thousands of dollars. They own the rights. They own the ISBN, basically the serial number for the book.
Mm-hmm.
They're making any royalties off your book. You've done nothing for that. But publish a book. If you figure out how to write your own book, or get a publishing contract or whatever, don't waste a bunch of money on it. But figure that out. Get your book published. You can do it yourself on Amazon KDP for free. An ISBN will cost you like $35.
Yep.
Figure out how to edit, format, upload your book. Now, when somebody Googles a problem that they're searching, and you have literally written the book on the subject, who are they going to do business with?
That's it. You know, I have one more question. I thought that was going to be my last question, but I have one more. You're a mentor to a lot of people. You talk with all different people on all different levels of their journey here. How important would you say that mentorship is, Curtis, in the journey of personal and professional growth? We hear people talk about mentors a lot, and you probably mentor a lot of folks out there. How important is that?
Mentorship is incredibly important. And listen to this coming from somebody who I absolutely love this. I don't make a single dime off of mentoring, coaching, consulting, podcast guesting. I have never made, I did 183 interviews as a guest in 90 days, not counting trying to do other stuff, posting articles and blogs and stuff. But out of doing 183 interviews in 90 days, I'm working my butt off on that, but it's something I love doing. Get a hold of somebody. I mean, if there's a mentor that's charging money for it and they've got fruit on the tree and they can prove that they've got the solution to the problem that you're having, maybe pay them. But mentoring is incredibly important. And I'm saying that as somebody who's never made a dime off of mentoring or coaching or consulting.
Fantastic. That's beautiful. Mr. McCoy, your insights into branding and media dynamics and just your authentic style are incredibly invaluable. And I really do look forward to exploring these topics further and understanding how individuals can navigate these complexities of the modern branding system to achieve lasting success. I think you've given some really, really good advice here, and I really appreciate the conversation, Curtis. Thanks for coming on. And how would somebody get in touch with you if they wanted to talk with you?
So as a so-called personal branding expert, if you Google me and cannot find me on the first 10 pages, I mean, I should be flooding Google. I've got if you get on Facebook, I've got 430,000 active members in one of my Facebook groups. Google me, Curtis McCoy, Curtis McCoy. Now you can go to mcurtismccoy.com. You can get on my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever page. I'm active on everything. I absolutely love it. So, but Google me, and that's a good way to test whether I'm doing what I say I do or not.
Where do they find these books? You've authored several books. Are they on Amazon, or is that where they find?
Yeah, Amazon. So the fourth one I published is one I'm promoting the most. That was How to Be Successful, Think Like a Leader. But it's, if you just go to how2besuccessful.com or get on Amazon and search it.
Okay. Curtis, I really appreciate you being here. Thanks for the great conversation, man.
This is awesome. Thank you.